Hello and welcome to Online Crafts with the Greene County Public Library. Today, we're going to be making a little book, notebook, journal out of just paper that you happen to have laying around the house. This project is from the book Trash Origami by Michael LaFosse and Richard Alexander, which is full of wonderful projects to reuse stuff around your house and which you can check out from your favorite Greene County Public Library branch. To make today's project, you're going to need 10 pieces of paper that are all the same size. I'm using some copy paper, and it's okay if it has writing on one side. I'm using a piece of construction paper and a couple of sheets of scrapbook paper. But honestly, almost any kind of paper will work. Wrapping paper will do if it's not the cheap kind that tears really easily. Newspaper can work, magazine pages can work. If you want something you can write on, you need 3 pages that are blank on one side so that you can write on them. But aside from that, anything's good. I don't recommend cardboard or a poster board. Those are going to be too thick to work really well. But if you've got 10 pieces of paper, and again, they all have to be the same size, you're good to go. I'm using 8.5 by 11 paper. Rectangle is probably a little easier to start with, but honestly, you can make it out of square paper if that's what you have. And it can be bigger or smaller than this. This is just a nice standard size to start with. Let's begin. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to look at your paper and decide what's going to be the pages. I'm going to use these book sheets that we have here in the library out of our recycling bin, and they are blank on one side, so that's going to be the side that'll show when I make my book. And here's what you do with it. You take your piece of paper, and you fold it in half, and line the edges up as neat as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. As close as you can. So then you're going to open it up and you're going to have a fold line running down the middle. And again, I'm going to have my writing on the inside of this. So my next part's going to cover up the writing. I'm going to take one edge and fold it so that it meets right at that fold line. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other edge. Now all the writing is hidden inside where you can't see it. And what you have looks like this. You take that and you fold it in half this way. And that is a page of your book. You're going to need 3 of these. I've gone ahead and made some ahead of time so you don't have to sit and watch me do all 3, but I will show you one trick you can do. If you happen to have a ruler and a pencil, instead of folding the page in half, you can mark a line halfway down the middle of the page. So my page is 11 inches, so I'll make a little mark along one edge at 5.5. Make a little mark along the other edge, also at 5.5. Draw a line between those 2 marks. And then when I fold my paper, I'm going to fold it right up to that line I drew. And what this does is make it so you don't have a fold line down the middle of your pages. So it's something that's kind of nice to do, makes it look a little bit tidier, but it's absolutely not a requirement in any way, shape, or form. So when you've got your 3 pages, you're going to set them aside. Then you're going to take 4 more pieces of paper, and these are going to make your connectors, what's going to hold your pages together. And this can be your ugly paper. It's not going to show when the book is done. So don't waste anything pretty on this. It's absolutely not going to show in any way once you're finished. what you're going to do with that, I'm just going to use more copy paper. I'm going to have the writing on the outside this time because, like I said, it's not going to show. You're going to fold it in half, just like you did with the pages. Get a nice fold line down the middle. And you're going to fold it again, but you're going to do it slightly differently than when you did the pages. This time, instead of folding it right up to that line, the fold line that you made, you're going to make it a little bit past. And I do mean a little bit, like about 1/8 of an inch, tiny bit. And on the other side, you're going to do the same thing, only it's going to overlap the first part that you folded up. So if you take a look, it overlaps along the edge. You fold it in half. And if you compare it to one of your pages, you will see that it's just a little bit shorter than the page. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So you're going to make 4 of these. And again, I had some ready so you don't have to sit and watch me make them. Here's what you're going to do with them. Take your first page, take your connector. If you look at your page in this folded place, you're going to slide the connector down in there. Now, if you happen to have a glue stick, again, this isn't required. It holds together just fine without being glued, but it would be a little snugger if you used glue. If you happen to have a glue stick, you can open this up, put a little glue on it, and glue it down together. But again, you don't have to, and I'm not going to with the one I'm working on now. So I've got the connector inside the page. I'm going to take another connector and put this in the other half of the page. And slide it in. And again, if you had glue, you could glue it down, but you don't have to. So what you've got is a page sandwiched in between 2 connectors. Now you're going to take your second page. And the connector that's sticking out here will go right inside your second page. Now, if you find that your connectors are too tight and you can't get them in, you might need to refold them and make them a little tiny bit smaller. But they should fit. You've got 2 pages, 2 connectors. Now you'll take your third connector and put that inside the other half of the second page, like that. And then you'll take your third page and you're going to do the same thing. And I will tell you, after you've done this, if you want to make one that has more pages, you can make one that has more pages. Just know that you need 2 more connectors than you have pages. So if you have 5 pages, you need 7 connectors. If you have 10 pages, you need 12 connectors. Just 2 more connectors than you have pages. Just slide that on. And you're going to take your last connector and put that into the last bit of your last page. So what you've got should start to look like a book, although kind of an accordion. We'll fix that as we go along. Right now, put that aside. Then take your prettiest paper to be your cover. I'm going to do the bit with the ruler and draw my center line because I don't want a fold line down the middle of your cover, but you absolutely don't have to do this. You can fold it in half, just like you did with the pages without using a ruler if you don't have one. I just think it makes it look a little bit neater to not have that fold line because your cover is going to be done exactly the same way that you did the pages. You've got your center line and you're going to fold your parts to the center line, just like you did with the page. and fold it in half. And I just happen to have my other cover because you're going to need two. So you take your cover, and your cover is going to go onto the connector that you have sticking out on the edge of your book. Just slide that on, flip your book over, and do the same thing with your other cover. And again, if you have glue, glue it on, but you don't have to. It's starting to look a little bit like a book, isn't it? But now we need the magic piece that holds it all together. And that's going to be the spine of your book. So you're going to take another piece of paper. In this case, I have a piece of construction paper. And you're going to do just like you did the connectors. You're going to fold it in half. And then fold the edge up to a little bit past your fold line. Do you remember how you did the connectors? So it's just a little bit past. And the same thing on the other side. So you've got a tiny bit of overlap, as you can see right there. All right, now comes the only part that's even remotely different in this. You'll take your book, and you're going to line your book up with the very edge of your spine paper. Take a pencil and draw a line. Position that so you can see it. You're going to draw a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of know. In this case, it'll be about a ½ inch. Draw a line there. Because instead of folding it exactly in the middle, you're going to fold it to that line that you just drew. And then on the other side, you're going to put your book there again. And again, you're going to draw a little line. Now, if you don't happen to have a pencil with you, because I told you you didn't need a pencil, if you don't have a pencil with you, you just sort of guess, and you're going to fold it to about a ½ inch from the edge. So that what you have will look like this. And then that is going to be your very last connector, which will go inside one of your covers, just like this. Then it's going to come around and go inside your other cover. And that is the bit of magic that will hold the entire book together. And you might have to fiddle it around, which is what I'm going to do here, because my cover didn't go on quite as neatly as I would have liked. Just fiddle it around, and there you've got a little book. You see, open the cover, open the pages, and that's all there is to it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again next month for more awesome online crafting with your Greene County Public Library.